So, Wilkie, we're getting into Christmas.
Christmas is on the way. Christmas hype has been built.
Down. Yes, it is. Well, when this comes out, it's 2 sleeps till Christmas. When we're recording this, it's 4. 4 sleeps till Christmas. Do you count in sleeps?
I used to. I miss counting by sleeps, but my sleep schedule is so terrible these days that I can't really reliably do that anymore.
Oh, because some nights do you skip sleeping?
No 2 sleeps are equivalent to each other, so I can't just say it's 4 sleeps. I've got to be like, I'll just look at my calendar and check. If I didn't have my Google Calendar, I'd think I would die.
Wilkie's gone all business. He puts on his suit and tie and goes, if it's not in my calendar, then it's not one of my problems.
Yep. Debbie, what are my meetings today? And my Google Calendar, who I call Debbie, will be like, you put down that you had a thing at 3. I was like, aha, my thing, yes. And I'll forget what it is and not go, and I'll miss it.
Okay, Izzy keeps a calendar, but it's infuriating because she won't keep a calendar of when things are. She'll just say, okay, I have something today, or on a day in the future, and she'll always put them as just like 9 o'clock. In the morning or whatever. So she keeps a calendar, but she doesn't keep track of when the things are.
I would say that's perhaps less helpful than not keeping a calendar at all. Because if someone says, can you come to like this thing, you know, can you come to this meeting at 2 p.m. and you say, yes, but I don't have a calendar, they'll say, okay, I'll email you 2 hours in advance or something. If you're like, brilliant, I'll put that in my calendar, and you put it down as 9 a.m., you turn up at 9 a.m., they're like, what are you doing?
Well, she knows it's not at 9 a.m. She remembers for some things, but then also a lot of the time she doesn't remember.
Yeah, one of my first impressions of Izzy was that she was rather disorganized. And so it doesn't seem like she's doing herself many favors.
No, it's not entirely... The disorganization isn't entirely her fault. Dyspraxia doesn't help her.
I know that it's. I know
the
that
calendar
it's not
thing
her fault,
doesn't
but
help her.
She doesn't seem to be mitigating by keeping such a weird calendar system.
Wilkie, you're not wrong, Wilkie. You are, as they say, in my opinion, correct.
Thank you. Because, like, of course, people can't help stuff like that. Izzy can't help being disorganized, but just saying that everything you do is at 9 a.m. doesn't increase the level of organization in your life.
No, it as you say, Wilkie, if anything, it just makes everything a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
And talking about things being crazy right now, why don't you try Lockdown, the board game, or the card game, by James Veitch, the comedian you might know from Rubber Ducks and or the TED Talk where he scammed a scam email person.
Yes, I heard about this a few months ago, and it seemed very like, how to put it? It was like
cashing in.
Yeah, like great, lockdown the board. How very topical. Ooh, lockdown.
Well, I've got to say that I'm pretty impressed. It was meant to be initially, I think, when he announced it, just going to be almost like a comical keepsake. You know, just sort of something where you could look back on all of the weird factors of what it was like to be in lockdown. But then actually, it looks like he's kind of tried to make it into a board game. Or I need to. Board game, it's just cards. There's no actual board, but I think board game is still fine.
Yeah.
But it seems very good. You know, the box is very nice. The cards are premium quality, I would say.
Beautiful.
And I'm very excited to play it at some point. It's full of
Hambo. Is this a limited edition cold open review of something?
Yeah, you know, I think that this Lockdown, the card game. Now, when you look at it, people at home, you would see that it's a mostly black box, but it doesn't. The top and the bottom don't seem to quite close. That is intentional, and it creates an aesthetic red band, about 1/3 up from the bottom. Has lockdown with an exclamation point. A terrible idea that was a YouTube video and then became a game. Who knows why? That's the point. Anything when you think about it. What's the point in anything if you think about it? Then in the bottom of the box, there's this text that is printed on the bottom of the box. They said it wasn't necessary to write anything here if I didn't have anything to say. But in the same email, they acknowledged it was included in the price. And to be honest, that alone proved enough motivation for me to write this. Anyway, you're holding the box upside down. And I think that's a very useful note right at the end. You're holding the box upside down. Because, Wilkie, if you did try to open the box, the cards would fall away and you might damage them or ruin them. So you need to remember to turn the box the right way up. Make sure that the person sat on the toilet with their phone is sat correctly.
Wait, so the writing on the back of the box is upside down? So if you turn the box to read it, you are holding the box upside down?
Yeah, so if you turn the box to read the underneath, you can read some text, and it says at the end of that big chunk of text, if you're reading this, you're holding the box upside down.
That's helpful.
So it reminds you not to open the box. Yeah, and then you do open it up, you can see there's lots of different cards that symbolise things you might know in lockdown. There's plenty of panic buying. There's a new hobby, which I think our friend Sophie would like this. It's lifestyle. In the top left corner, the lifestyle symbol is a little sloth.
Aww.
There's lots of other cards. I honestly couldn't count them, but I'd say there's at least 100 or so, if not more.
That's a lot of cards.
You got companion. You can get lots of pets. I've found a cat card. Baking rather a lot. I'm sure our friend Alex would be able to attest to baking a lot. Her parents definitely can. Online gaming. Now that's a good card. That's a good card right there.
That's us.
Yes.
Just today, I downloaded Rocket League because a YouTube video told me to. I'm not bad.
That's good to hear, Wilkie. Rocket League's free now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's free on the Epic Games Store, so I downloaded it. I've won a few games. I've scored a few goals. I feel good about it.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear. Rocket League seems like a very interesting game, but it's not one I've really tried too much. I want to give it more of a go. I've seen there's lots of tie-ins with Fortnite at times, or recently, obviously, because they've got a partnership with Epic now. But yeah, maybe it's one I should try. But also, I have too many games to play, Wilkie. I feel like I've got like 15 games I'm trying to keep on top of. I need to play more Destiny 2, and I've been falling behind on that. But Lockdown, the card game, I will give more review when I've actually played it. But better than this, I'm going to give it a good. It's a fun little box. I can't complain about it.
Brilliant.
The cards are nice. But yeah, lots of video games. Wilkie, what would you say is your favourite thing about Rocket League?
I think it's just so novel. Like, it's... Rocket League, for those of you who don't know, it's a football game played in either from 1v1 to 4v4. But you aren't a person, you're a car. And you have like a jet booster at the back of your car. You can boost forward, you can bounce up in the air, you can jump around, and it's such a novel concept that it's just innately very fun. Some video games, I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but I didn't enjoy it because I wasn't very good at it. But with Rocket League, it's all so sort of new and strange and like completely unlike any other game I've played, that it is just innately very fun, even if you're not really doing that well. Yes.
I can attest that. The little bit of Rocket League that I have played is it does feel very fun. And I think, the original name of the game was meant to be, I believe, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars.
It's a good title.
Oh no, that might have been the prequel. That might have been the prequel, actually. That might have been the one that came out before. But that's sort of the name of it, and I think that does encourage quite a fun sounding game. I don't feel like you're going to jump into Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars and just not inherently enjoy that.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite things about that game is that when you score a goal, the football explodes and sends everyone on the pitch flying away from your opponent's goal. And that's such a great touch. Like, it could have just like exploded in like fireworks and stuff, but no, it explodes and sends you flying. And it's such a final moment. And you're like, yeah, I don't have to worry about like the fact that I've just been launched across the map. I just scored a goal. It's so satisfying.
See, that's what I wish happened in actual football matches. I wish the football exploded and then the game would just be over because the ball would be gone.
No more ball.
No more football. And then football would be over, and then we could go back to doing other things that aren't football related. But alas, they decided to not make the footballs explode in real life because apparently that would be dangerous.
Yeah, cowards.
And not up to health and safety standards. I feel like you don't hear as much the phrase health and safety gone wild or gone mad. I feel like just even a decade ago, it'd be really common for someone probably of a slightly older generation to say it's health and safety gone mad. You can't climb up a ladder without a harness. Crazy. But I don't feel like you hear it anymore.
I think that's just turned into like, yeah, like those sorts of people still exist. It's just not really health and safety anymore. It's the LGBTs and that sort of thing. I think I'd rather go back to health and safety gone mad, if I'm honest.
It was a good era. It was a good era of health and safety gone mad, because sometimes you would hear the people reminisce about all the dangerous games they played. Like I used to tire swing along the Grand Canyon. We just go right over the edge.
I used to play football in the middle of the motorway. Nobody batted an eyelid. One end
of the M6 to the other.
Nowadays, it's cars all over the road.
I know.
Yeah.
Wilkie, where does the M6 start and where does it finish? Because the M6 must... Because roads have to start somewhere. But it's sort of like... Does the M6 just sort of... What road goes into the M6? You know, if I want to just go along...
The M6 motorway runs from junction 19 of the M1 to Gretna Junction J45.
But the M1, like, where does that start and end? Because sort of I want to get onto
it starts at Coventry and ends at Scotland. Is the answer pretty much?
The M1. I mean, that's an odd thing.
Wait, no, not the M1. The M6. The M1 goes from London to Leeds.
Yeah, London to Leeds makes sense. Okay, so I guess it just sort of begins.
Then, yeah, the M6 is Coventry, Birmingham to the Scottish border, where it becomes the M74 and goes to Glasgow.
Interesting. Okay. It's just one of those things where you just sort of wonder, you know, do lots of little roads merge into this big road or merge and become this one big road?
I mean, you'd know better than me, Hamish. You're the one who can drive.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I've driven every road. Maybe I should
Surely
try
that's
that.
part of the test. Because if you haven't driven on a certain road, how do they know you can drive on it?
Well, Wilkie, they never test that you can drive on a motorway. You've got to pass your test before you can drive on a motorway, I believe. So
That's not true. No, that's okay. That's fun. No, driving on the motorway is part of the test, I'm sure.
No, it's not. In the UK, you don't have to drive on a motorway.
Then what's the point of the test?
To test that you can then drive on a motorway.
But you've never practiced driving on a motorway.
But you don't because you can drive on a dual carriageway, and that's very similar. The motorway is in many ways an easier dual carriageway because you can technically go as fast on both, but there's more lanes on a motorway and there's a variable speed limit. So actually sometimes you're going slower than on a dual carriageway naturally. So the motorway, it's kind of like easy mode. They need to put the stabilizers on your car, so they give you an extra lane.
Maybe, Hamish. You know what? I'll defer to you as the resident car expert.
Yes, I'm. My nickname at school was Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't for other reasons?
No. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that again. My nickname at school was James May.
Because you love cheese so much. You seen that video?
Yeah.
It's just James May slamming a block of cheese down on a table. He looks at the camera and just goes, cheese. It's very funny.
He did like toy videos. He did a life.
Yeah, he did his whole toy series. Kit. That was good. I enjoyed that show.
That was good. Classic TV. Yeah. Okay, this cold open hasn't been very Christmas related.
No, it hasn't really been very Christmas related.
But I guess cold open's always Christmas related because they're cold.
That's okay. We're bringing the Christmas in later.
We're bringing the Christmas in later. The Christmas will get added in post. I'm sure we've said something funny. So, yeah. Well, this might not be Christmas related, but the main show will be. So let's go into that.